Well, the weekend has come to an end, but does not mean we have to end things here. However, if you guys are big fans of the Japanese wrestling scene, well, you're in luck. This entire episode is all about that. So we're going to be reviewing four different events from four different promotions. The first one is from Oz Academy. This is their much latest event that took place in Korakuen Hall. We have, of course, the main event featuring the Oz Academy Openweight title. Mayumi Ozaki defends her belt against her own teammate, but a little stipulation has been set apart. If Maya Yukihi does not win, she is out of Ozaki-gun. But the real question is, how bloody murder this is gonna be? Well, we'll just have to find out. And then we have, of course, Sendai Girls in Shinkiba. We have, of course, wrestlers coming from Marvelous also participating. The main event features Mika Iwata and Takumi Iroha taking her on. And then we have, of course, day 6 of the 5-star Grand Prix by Stardom. We are focusing on the Red Stars A and B blocks only. However, we do know later on certain wrestlers are now officially out of the constituency, but the real question is who will walk out as the winner, and I think we are possibly on the halfway point mark or so. And then, of course, we've now ended with the finale of the G1 Climax by New Japan Pro Wrestling. Who will walk out as this year's winners? Will it be, of course, Yodosuji, who won the New Japan Cup? Will he finally become the guy that many people talked about? Or will it be Zack Sabre Jr., who, in fact, never won the G1? Well, we just gotta wait and see. And then, of course, we cap up the episode with some news updates. And, of course, we're going to be talking about what events that are happening by the promotions and developments. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world of pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also got the Unagi Sayaka watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions that need to be said. It's time to rock and roll. So let's begin with, of course, with Oz Academy. Okay, Oz Academy. This is their much recent show that just came out. This one is called Plum Nu Hana Saku Oz no Kuni 2024. Now, I don't know what the hell that means, but anyway, what I like about this show is because I think the real question we were facing in the last couple of weeks regarding about Ozaki-gun. As you know, Mayumi Ozaki has been very erratic towards her own teammates, especially when they blamed her for the fact that she lost, the fact that they failed to stop Takumi Iroha from getting an opportunity of the AAW championship. So basically, but the blame turned into mostly Maya Yukihi. So basically, that's how it is. But we'll get to that. Now, our first match, we have Ozaki Gun, consistent of Kageto and Sairunui, and the referee of the night is their very own Mio, or better known as Mio Shirai. Yeah, the same Mio Shirai who is the sister of Io Sky. So basically, you would guess, because she's a member of Oz Academies as their personal ref, that would have been favored. But of course, Miyuki Takase and Tai Hamna, their opponents, they know they're not idiots. They know the fact that this was going to play out. But one thing that was funny is, of course, when Tai Hamna picked up Pin Kakeru, when Mio was about to do the pin, she's like, 1, 2, and then Miyuki grabbed Miyu and bam, just slammed her hand down, and that's it. It was over. Bell rung. So basically, they had no idea what happened. So basically, they tried to protest that this was invalid, but the third count counted. So basically, but I thought that was like a sweet type of victory that it deserved. But I don't know how this would affect, of course, Mayumi Ozaki, knowing that they're supposed to be the most dominant faction within Oz Academy. But we'll see. Next up, we have a 6-woman tag match. Team number 1, we have Leon, all the way from Pure J. We have Tsukasa Kurigaki, and of course, all the way from Ceiling, making her road to retirement, Arisa Nakajima. They face Kohaku from Wave, Izuki or Aoki, and of course, Akino. So basically, you would think that this is going to be a very interesting matchup. However, this match was nothing too significant, but the only thing that was stunning out is Nakajima, who is now in her stages of retirement. Well, she did not pick up the win. It was, of course, Kurigaki who applied a Falcon Arrow onto, of course, Kohaku, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have a tag match. We have Momoka Hanazono, who I like to call the Terror in the ring. She teams up with Ram Kaicho. Now, this was a very odd pairing, but it was effective. Of course, you have Yu and Jaguar Yokota teaming up. However, there was a moment where, of course, Jaguar made Momoka cry. She made Ram cry. She made Yu cry. Then she made the ref cry. I don't know how many people she made cried. But, however, that didn't last long until, of course, but I felt bad for Momoka. She ended up on the last ride by Yu, and just like that, she bounced back. But she got pancaked by Yu. Yeah. So basically, that's how it happened. Now, this is one of 2 title matches involved. We have the Oz Academy tag team titles. We have Zones and Lady Destroyer Hiroyo Matsumoto taking on Ryo Mizunami and Sonoko Sato. So you would think, of course, that this was going to be an easy tag. Now, we do know, those who have been following the Yoshi wrestling scene, especially with wrestlers in their individualities, you have seen how Matsumoto and Zone have gone close. They have become a strong tag team. But I asked myself watching this, was Zone's ready to step up the game to get a first time ever title match, even though there is no titles in her home promotion in Evolution? That's something we haven't seen yet, but I'm pretty sure that Ishikawa is working on that. But however, it was Sonoko who picked up the win when she pinned Zones, and just like that, it was completely over. However, the obvious question is, okay, who's going to challenge Ryo Mizunami and Sonoko Sato? Well, the first people that came around were none other than Kohaku and Momoka Hanazono. So they stepped up the game. But however, they were told that someone made a special surprise. And I mentioned this on a news update. We're talking about Stardom's very own FWC. That's right. Koguma and Azuki. So they say they would challenge for the belts, but that's going to be for a later date. I don't know how I would feel that, but the obvious question to me I asked, what does Mayumi think of this? Having one of the number one promotion, making their way to Oz Academy. I'm sure Mayumi will love nothing more to cause chaos in Stardom, but we'll just have to wait and see. Give me 1 minute. Now, our main event is the Oz Academy Openweight Championship. We have the challenger, Mayuhiki and Mayumi Ozaki. So this is a brutal match. Now, of course, when it comes to Mayumi Ozaki, that no good for nothing dirty cop police shows up as always. However, you know that she was going to use every dirty trick in the book. However, that did not go exactly her way because, well, for starters, police made a big doo-doo. He accidentally whacked Mayumi with the chair, not once, but twice. And then she lost it. And then he completely snapped and beat the crap out of her and then left her for dead. So he just basically walked away. So basically you can tell this is where, like, Mayumi's world is starting to crumble. Now, I'm not going to lie, she is in her mid-50s. She's in good shape. But, however, how will this play? Well, this match was brutalized. I mean, there were chains and chairs all over the place. Both sides were bleeding. But, unfortunately, Mayumi was able to pick up the win when she pinned Yuhiki. And just like that, it was over. However, because of the stipulation is this, that if Mayuhiki loses, she's out of Ozaki-gun. But things have becoming spherical. Kageto actually quit too. The only way she did that is that she gave away like a wristband that had the Ozaki-gun logo. Now it's something like this, guys. They were all wearing one of these, and Maya kind of tossed hers in the ground like kind of like a mic drop. And then of course you see Kageto toss hers. Mia also left too because she can't believe that Ozaki-gun has been falling apart. And then once Mayumi got her trophy and certificate, Saru Inui also quit, but that's not the one thing that became clear. From my understanding, she's issued a challenge for this belt. Now, I never seen this before, but it was foretold that this was not the first time that Sayuri Inui and Mayumi clash. But they said there was a controversial match to that. Now, I never seen it. I don't know if you guys saw it too. If you guys know anything about that, please leave a comment down below. I'd like to know more. But yes, so we'll see what happened. But however, while Ozaki-gun has been falling apart, you do see the current tag team champions watching from afar, seeing that you're allowing your own house to fall apart. So basically, because I remember Mayumi took blame of Kato losing the openweight title to Miyu Momono for Marvelous. So now it's like saying, look what you got yourself into this time. So we'll see what happens. I cannot wait to see the next Oz Academy show, and we'll go from there. But as of right now, we'll end things here with Oz Academy. Let's move on with Sendai Girls. Okay, Sendai Girls in Shinkiba. Now, this one does not have a title like every other promotion we've seen, but we'll leave it as that. It opened up with Yuna taking on Miyuki Takase. Now, firsthand, I knew that this match was going to fall in favor for Miyuki Takase. One, Yuna is still a rookie. She's still on the learning curve. But I have to say she did a fantastic job, but she hasn't picked up the big win that she needs, or a win that would help her significantly to grow. But however, it was Yuki Takase with a guillotine leg drop that allowed her to pick up the win, and just like that, it was over. Next match, we have Yuta Suzuki taking on Hiroyo Matsumoto. Yes, folks, Hiroyo Matsumoto appeared in two different events in the same day. It's not uncommon because, of course, this one took place in Tokyo as well. So she had a haul ass to Korakuen Hall, or haul ass to Korakuen Hall to Shinkiba. So, you know, I don't know. But anyway, I figured that this was going to fall in favor of Lady Destroyer. She is one of the most recognizable Yoshi wrestlers known in the independent scenes down in Japan. But it was her who picked up the win with a kind of like a maneuver, kind of like a little bit like Thunderstruck, what Xena does, but instead of using both knees, she just does like the backbreaker, but instead of the backbreaker is the abdomen. So basically, that allowed her to pick up the win. Next up, we have Manami. The same Manami who's currently wrestling in in Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix. She faced against the Queen of Hardcore Dash Shizako. You can guess that this match was going to go to Dash's favor because Manami actually tried to play her game. But like I always say, don't outdo the masters, okay? But here's the thing. When I look at Odatai, they think they're hardcore. When you look at wrestlers who actually face like prominence, if you guys remember, Starlight Kid, Momo, and Kashima, they requested a hardcore match against prominence because they say they are the experts. No, guys. Weapons does not make you hardcore experts. The experts are those who put their bodies in front of them. Same thing happened again with Momo when she faced Dash. It did not work her time. She can say that she is an expert, but that doesn't mean that she isn't. So Manami actually tried to do the same thing, but it did not do any well for her because Dash finished her off when she applied, of course, a double foot stomp and then the frog splash, and just like that, it was completely over. But don't try to play Dash's game because she knows how to play back. Next up, we have tag team action. We have Jesse Jackson and Ryu Mizunami taking on Team 200 Kilogram, consistent of you and Big Hash herself, Chihiro Hashimoto. Of course, this match, you probably would think there's going to be a bit of power play on this one. Yes, it did. But, however, it was you who picked up the one with the big diving body splash on Jesse. And, of course, she got pancaked over this. So, basically, yes, Jesse got pancaked and you picked up the win. Now, the match took an intermission from here, but it gave time for Sakura Hirota to do a promo. So basically, she was talking about something. I did put notes on that a little later for the news update, so I'll explain it a bit. But yes, now let's jump in back to the event. Our next match, we have a tag team action. We have Chi-Chi and Veni taking on the current tag team champions in a non-title match. Miyu Momono and Yurika Oka. So basically, you would think that this is going to be a fantastic match. It did. However, of course, if Chi-Chi and Veni would have picked up the win, they would have been in title contingency to challenge for the tag belts. But however, it was Oka who picked up the win with a twisted frog splash onto Chi-Chi, and just like that, it was over. However, in the post-match, while they were doing the little promo, they were approached by former tag team champions, not the ones that they defeated, but the most dominating one in Sendai's. We're talking about you and Big Hash. So, most likely they will challenge them. Now, our next match, we have Takumi Iroha versus Mika Owada. I thought this match was very intense and very impressive because you can tell that those who know this, Iroha is in fact the ace of Marvelous. You know, she's been one of their top aces in Marvelous, but Mika has played that game as well. But you ask yourself who is the strongest. Now, it's no secret if you guys follow Yoshi Wrestling, there has been an intense rivalry between the two founders of the respective promotions. I'm talking about Meiko Satomura and, of course, Shigazo Nagayo. They both knew each other from the time with Gaia, and, of course, it led to this. But Takumi was the one who picked up the win. Now, she multiply tried to apply the running three. First failed, second time failed, but third, it was a charm. And just like that, she picked up the win. However, I don't know what she said in the promo, but I wouldn't be surprised what happens next. But I'm sure we will see more of Sendai Girls making their presence known in, of course, Marvelous Girls making their presence known in Sendai. So we'll see what happens. So right now, let's just end things here and move on with Stardom. Okay, day 6 of Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix. I like to say that maybe we are now halfway through this entire tournament. I know many people have been questioning about this. I know there have been those who are confused over certain things, especially one involving Tam Nakano. But we'll get to that. Now, we begin, as you know, I mentioned we are doing the Red Stars blocks A and B. Now let's begin with the Red Stars A block. We have two of them actually. The first one is Raka versus Maika. Now, of course, there's going to be interference from Hate. That's something that's very uncommon. They're trying to break her as well, but Maika did not give in. But it took only a Michinoku driver to put Raka away, and just like that, it was over. So as of now, Maika is in the lead in the block, but however, Raka is completely out of contingency. So she's officially out of the tournament. Now, our next match involved with the same block, we have Yuna Mizumori versus Azuki. I have to say this was one of Yuna's best performances in this one. I mean, I'm sure that many of us probably would have loved to see her probably pick up at least one win or so, but it was just too much for her because she faced a veteran like Azuki, and she defeated her by applying a brainbuster, and that gave her, of course, Azuki with two more points with a total of 6. But however, Yuna has not been able to pick up a win, so she completely is now out of the consistency of the tournament. Now let's jump in with the Red Stars B block. We have Saya Ida versus Mei Seira. Now, of course, I have that suspicious feeling that Seira will be getting chopped in the chest by Ida like always. But in this matter, we do see, of course, Mei Seira was able to pick up a win with the Rolling Star, giving her next 2 points with the total of 6, and Ida with 2 points. Now, those who know this, we were forgot to mention this. The Stardom were in Kobe, which in fact the hometown of Aya Sakura. This was supposed to be like her homecoming triumph, but she had to face against Natsuko Tora. Now, she did stated that she will love nothing more to get revenge on her for what she did to Tam Nakano, cutting her hair and, of course, trying to dismantle her knee. However, of course, Natsuko Tora thinks of her, that she's an idiot, following someone like Tam and all that. Of course, she was going to play dirty, but the only difference is this: Natsuko Tora doesn't need Oedo Tai's help. She can handle it herself. But there were good moments that Aya Sakura was able to hold her own. But unfortunately, this match in a submission, in a leg lock submission, and I'm going to presume that Natsuko Tora is going to try to use that against her on August 31st during the Red Belt match. But yes. Now we're back to the block. Next up, we have the Red Star A block. We have Konami versus Natsupoi. Now, when it comes to Konami, Hate was going to be there. They're going to play dirty. That is something that's already been well known. But Natsuko Tora, I have to say, she was able to pick up a fantastic win. I was surprised she was able to escape this one because, of course, Konami will do whatever it takes to win, but she picked up her next 2 points with 6. As for Konami, she remains at 4. Now, our next match, we have, of course, Momo Watanabe and Tam Nakano. This is part of the Red Stars B block. It's no secret these two ladies are out, but however, as always, Hate gets involved in this match. Of course, Tam Nakano tries to withstand every throw. There was a moment where Tam could have won this match. She applied the violet screwdriver on Momo, but Raka tossed the box on the referee on his hand, causing a problem. Then they tossed Momo the baseball bat. Tam tried to stop her, but unfortunately, she used it to whack her leg again, causing another painful thing, and then, of course, putting the same leg submission we saw Natsuko Tora applied on Aya Sakura, forcing her to tap out. And then, of course, Tam Mo took satisfaction, saying that she cannot continue with a broken leg. And, of course, Natsuko Tora did a little promo telling her, that the enemy of my name is all I hate. And of course, Tam is telling that she can break her legs all she wants, but she will not break her heart. So basically, but there have been people doubting that Tam's going to walk out. Now, some of you may question why they're doing this to her. Last year, if you guys remember, Tam was in a match against her, but that resulted of her to be out of action, but at the same time forcing her to tap out. You probably could say that Natsuko Tora was not satisfied that the fact that she didn't defeat Tam. This rivalry dates back many years ago, long before this ever happened. There was one time where Tam won her match, Natsuko Tora got her revenge on that one. So basically, it was more like, how to say, I'm not satisfied until I finish the job. But we'll see what happens, because there are those that are talking. Now, I did state it, I will put a discussion video about that since we're getting closer and closer to that. So we'll see what happens. Now, our main event, we have the Red Stars B block, Azumi versus Mayu Iwatani. I have to say, this was a pretty good match. Now, I know many of you would think, okay, there were two possibilities. Mayu would win or a draw. But this one was a surprise win, an upset. Azumi was able to pick up the win when she applied a Canadian Destroyer, then the Azumi Sushi. And this was an upset, and not to mention she beat Mayu. And of course, Mayu is not acknowledging that she has grown up. But however, this also means that Azumi pinned the IWGP Women's Champion. So that means she could get another shot of this belt. She has challenged for this belt before, but that was against Mercedes Moné. And now she gets that shot as well. But we will see what happens. Now, of course, as I said before, the IWGP committee makes that decision. So we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we'll leave things as it is with Stardom and move on with our last and final review, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, it's finally over. The G1 Climax. But the real question we ask ourselves, who is the winner? Well, we'll just have to find out. But let's start from the very beginning to the very end. Our first match, we have, I believe, a six-man tag match. We have Shoma Kato, Tiger Mask, and Yuji Nagata. They take on Ryusuke Taguchi and, of course, Tenkoji, consistent of Satoshi Kojima and Hiroyoshi Tenzan. So nothing too significant about this match whatsoever. But what I did like about this match is, of course, Shoma Kato, who is eager to prove himself his worth while still in training. He asked Yuji Nagata if to give him the opportunity to prove himself. Well, he kind of did, but unfortunately he ended up in an ankle lock by none other than Taguchi. So, I have to say he did have a lot of guts, but Taguchi was the one who showed him a lesson. So that pretty much ends right there. Now our next match, we have Katsuya Murashima. He takes on Taichi. Now, of course, you probably look, Taichi was not a satisfying person due to the fact that he was not able to participate in the G1. We haven't seen him that much. But, however, I can tell you that he ended this match by applying a backdrop driver onto, of course, Murashima, and just like that, it was over. He didn't do anything. He just immediately left. But we'll see what happens moving forward from there. Next up, we have Francesco Ikura and Konosuke Takeshita taking on, of course, Robbie Eagles and Mikey Nichols. I have to say, it was a pretty good match. I like how things were in this one, even though there was no significant storyline involved, but it was Robbie Eagles that picked up a fantastic win. He did some sort of like a running wizard type move onto Akira, and just like that, it was over. But we will see those two in the end because they will show their moral support to Zack Sabre Jr. at the finals of the G1. Next up, we have the Bullet Club guys, Drilla Maloney, Clark Connors, and Ishimori taking on just five guys consistent of Taka Michinoku, Sanada, and Doiki. Now, don't forget, it was Ishimori who issued the challenge to Doiki for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. So that's something that's been the works. Now, of course, we know that Connors and Maloney are two of the strongest individuals. They are very tactical. But however, it was, of course, Taichi Shimori with the bloody cross onto Taka Michinoku, allowing him to pick up the win, giving a direct message to Doiki, telling him that soon that his reign will come to an end, because he must think that Doiki, he doesn't deserve to be champion. But nonetheless, that's how it ends. Now, a good announcement was made during the event. Royal Quest 4, once again, will be returning in the UK at London, I believe, at October 20th. So we're yet to announce who's going to be involved, but we'll find out. Next up, we have Tomoaki Hamna and Bishiman. They take on the other members of the Bullet Club War Dogs. Of course, the Mad Bastards, consisting of Gabe Kidd and Jake Lee, and the leader of the War Dogs, David Finlay. So you would have assumed that this match would have fallen in favor of the War Dogs, because they are the most dangerous group ever. They're always trying to prove the point. But to our surprise, this was a major upset, and the upset was Yoshihashi, who picked up the win with the crucifix on David Finlay. However, you all know this. Finlay is the current IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. So that means he could possibly cash in his opportunity for the belt. Now, we have talked about this before. We hardly see any single matches coming from Yoshihashi, but we have witnessed how far he has come, and I think that's important. I'm sure David Finlay is not going to take this lightly, but I'm sure the IWGP committee will make that decision, unless that idiot Evil decides to do something about it, because he's a scumbag. Now, our next match, we have Huntai, consisting of Shota Umino, El Phantasmo, and our current never openweight six-man tag champions, Bolton Oleg, Toru Yano, and Hiroshi Tanahashi, taking on the guys, let's call them the scumbags, House of Torture, Kanemaru, Sho, Yujiro, and Ren Narita and Evil. And of course, we saw that Evil is attempting to recruit El Phantasmo into the ranks. But however, much of this was a confliction from El Phantasmo. But of course, we know that Evil has his issues towards Tanahashi. He thinks of him that he's a prick, that he is unfit to become president, even though we all know Evil's a piece of garbage because he talks nonsense all the time. That's always been clear. But however, Evil picked up the win onto Tanahashi thanks to Dick getting involved and the tactics from House of Torture. However, LP refuses to join House of Torture. But however, this is not far from over. But during a post-match comments, apparently it seems that they want to make another play for the never openweight six-man tag champions. Last time these guys had been playing hard to get, and not to mention they called Tanahashi, Oleg, and Yano that they lost those belts out of a fluke. No, Evil, you lost fair and square because you are nothing but a big-ass crybaby with big diapers. That's what you are. Yeah. Now our main event, no, not a main event, our semi-main event, and this one's an important. We have the United Empire, Cal Newman, Great-O-Khan, Henare, and Jeff Cobb taking on LIJ's Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito. Now, we do know that Great-O-Khan is one of the few wrestlers that were able to defeat Naito during the G1. And now it seems that he wants to make a play for this belt, which is obvious. However, I have to say the biggest surprise was how this match ended. And this match ended with Hiromu. Hiromu pinned the never openweight champion Henare. Yes, folks, he pinned him when he rolled him up. I was surprised. Now, it's no secret. Hiromu has made a decision. He wants the never openweight title. He got away with the last laugh knowing he pinned him. So that shows he's determined. Henare was beside himself. So that means Hiromu could awfully get a shot of the never openweight title. Now, Henare can say all he wants, it's a fluke. But nonetheless, he does deserve a title shot. But the real question we ask ourselves, when will Great-O-Khan get his match against, of course, Naito for the title? I highly doubt that Khan will lose this belt. Well, I highly doubt Khan will win the IWGP World title, because I think many of you would want to see Naito face the winner of the G1. So we'll see about that. But let's jump into that. The G1 Finals. Yota Tsuji versus Zack Sabre Jr. Now, it's no secret. We all know that Yota Tsuji is the winner of this year's New Japan Cup. He was so close in winning this match. But Zack Sabre Jr., his case, you all know. He has never won it. So the real question is, who deserves it the more? But to be fair, I often said to myself, I think Zack Sabre Jr. was my pick to this whole thing. And I was right. He picked up a fantastic win by submitting Yota Tsuji. And he is now this year's, of course, winner of the G1. And he gets a shot of the IWGP World Heavyweight title. However, here's the twist. Now, those who know much about this, the winner of the G1 will challenge the winner at Wrestle Kingdom. But Zack Sabre Jr. is not waiting until January. He decides that he wants to face Naito at King of Pro Wrestling. That's in October, I believe. Yeah, that's in October, which is kind of odd, but it would make sense. So basically, in some capacity, we may have to see Khan and Naito sooner than we think. So, congratulations, Zack. He even got a surprise visit from Chris Brooks. And of course, what I didn't know, he used a move that belonged to his old mentor, Yoshinari Ogawa, who recently retired. But yes. Now, during the backstage, we did hear from Jeff Cobb, much like David Finlay, saying that he squandered this opportunity away. He was calling the same thing with Yota Tsuji. But he said he's willing to put the IWGP, the New Japan World Television title on the line. But if I was Jeff Cobb, I'd be more careful what you say, but we'll see. So I have to say I'm happy with the results. I'm glad this whole thing is over. But we still got more tournament to go from the other ones, such as the N1, the 5-star, and very soon we'll have the Dream Star. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for today. So let's end this thing with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with upcoming events from the promotions. A London-based promotion, Attack Pro Wrestling, has announced that on the 24th of August, Evil Uno will be making his appearance. So if you have any subscribers are from that general vicinity, try to get more. If you want to see him, go get your tickets now. West Coast Pro has announced a new show I did not know about. This one's called For the Homies, and I'm not sure if this one is produced by Los Suavecitos, and this one will happen on October 5th, and the first person they announced to be involved in this is Tyler Bateman. Now, if you guys remember, I did review the Sendai Girls thing. There was a thing with Sakura Hirota about a produced show happening, and that show, from my information, is going to happen on the 11th of October in Shinkiba. However, she did mention Chihiro Hashimoto. She would like to participate with her. She hasn't yet spoken to her about it, but hopefully they can come up with a deal or so. Now, as you know, we just recently had the Queen of the Indies. Soon we will have King of the Indies, and that will happen on November 1st. However, they just recently announced a match for that one, and that is going to take place. It's going to be Bandito and, of course, versus Shun Skywalker. Now for some more developments. Many of you may have heard something interesting that transpired with former TNA knockouts. Velvet Sky later turned into an NWA commentator. Apparently some promoters have been booking her, but this is the twist. They said that the person who they booked came from Facebook. That this person is Velvet Sky, of course, booking her matches on Facebook. However, when the word got out, Velvet Sky made it clear that this is not her. She doesn't even have a Facebook account. But I can concur she does not, because I do follow her on both X and on, of course, Instagram. So those are the only two locations. So She does believe that whoever is doing this is a scammer, but she does implore people to report this person. So if you happen to be across Velvet Sky on Facebook, it's not her. So report that individual as soon as possible. It's that time of year again, as you know, when it comes to wrestling academies anywhere in the world. Well, West Coast Pro Academy will begin a brand new class on September 10th. This is going to be in on the 7 p.m. Pacific. Now, if you're planning to become a pro wrestler, so if you guys want to, you can email them. It's going to be West Coast Pro Wrestling at gmail.com. Let me repeat that again. I'll see if I can put this right here in the bottom. West Coast Pro Wrestling at gmail.com. So check it out. Many people were surprised about something that transpired this past Saturday in Collision. If you guys noticed, we saw Sammy Guevara and Mercedes Mone in the same show. Now, if you guys remember, some people were saying, was Sammy sent to ROH due to the fact of Mercedes Mone? Apparently, there was no indications that was the case. But, however, they were in the same show. I mean, we did see Sammy win the AEW Ring of Honor tag team titles with Dustin. We did see, of course, Mercedes Mone. So, wherever this whole thing about Sammy going to ROH because because of Mercedes, look, they already long past this. There were already like apologies been made, so it's kind of clear. But yes. Now, speaking of Collision, as you all know, we did talk about Dustin Rhodes. As you know, his nephews, Wayne and Wyatt, were there to have a dark match against Aaron Solo and, of course, John Cruz. However, their tag team name that they used is, in fact, called the New Texas Outlaws. So, basically, this was a name given by Dustin Rhodes. Many of you may think, are they ever going to be in AEW? Well, I think they're still currently in the Rhodes Wrestling Academy, where, of course, Dustin runs things. But, yes, so we'll see what happens. Julia gave us an update about something for anybody. As you know, we're getting closer and closer now. She said that she is studying English, even though she knows it's hard. But someone did interviewed her about that. Because if you guys know this, she was born in London, which technically was the English down there is well versed, but she didn't know the language because she was only 2 years old. Don't forget, guys, she is half Italian and half Japanese. So we'll see how her English will be when she gets to WWE, but she is intending to learn before she arrives in NXT. Now, speaking of new arrivals in NXT, Stephanie Vaquer has been reported that now she got her work visa, so she'll be making her way as well to NXT, and I'm sure many of you are very, very happy to see her. Jody Threat, current TNA Knockout, as you know, she just became the new Smash Wrestling Women's Champion. So basically, she is real fun to hear that she has won a championship in her native country of Canada. So we'll see how things will progress down there with her. Now, before anything else, as you know, we have Mai Sakurai talking about her time with Guilia. As you know, she is the final opponent for Guilia before she leaves to WWE. She had some things to say about her. Let me pull that up for all of you. Yes. This is what Mai Sakurai says. She says she remembers training with Guilia during the time when she was with DDM. Even when I won a match, I was told that was not good at all. The girl who lost was better. There was a time when I practiced for 2 hours just on elbows and slaps. Of course, that experience helped me to become who I am today. But at the time, it was so hard that I hid in the bathroom and cried. So you can tell by Julia was a bit harsher. I know that some people can say there are some excellent performances in the ring, which is not uncommon. We've seen that before, but yeah, that's what happened. But she even talks about, how Julia making herself the center of attention, and now that they're in Mighty Gold, she feels like her being there is not going to allow Mighty Gold to grow. And then this is what she said about that. Julia has the ability to take all the good parts at the end and make herself the center of attention. That's important as a pro wrestler, but as someone who's been by her side, I've always thought that if that was the case, Julia would be the strongest, and the promotion would not be able to move up. So basically, she feels that she's been the center of the tension, but it would not allow it to grow. I mean, yeah, I mean, Julia would the promotion with Julia would have been growing, but yes, I mean, I can see that too. But Julia is well recognized and more respected by the fan base. She, she even talked about her concern about what would happen with Marigold after Julia left, and this is what she said. I think there will be more possibilities after Julia's gone. I won't completely change the current organization. I will erase Julia's color. That's a little bit harsh right there. But yeah. I mean, I would say Mai Sakurai should try to develop more of herself, to build herself more as a main character. What do you guys think? You think that she should do that? Yes. And then she talked about, if she loses to Julia, she'll give up the lady persona. If I lose to Julia, I'll give up the life of a lady for a while and start living as a commoner. I'll survive by sipping on muddy water. I don't know if people want to see that, but we'll see. So we'll see how Mai Sakurai will do. But until then, let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Coming up, as we speak, we have the latest Marigold event, the last official match of Julia, where she faces, of course, Mai Sakurai. So that is at the top of discussion. Now, I know we have the much recent All Japan and Noah events. I will consider maybe putting those, but we will see how that far along go. But until then, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to try to wing it up just a little bit. See how this one will roll up. But be patient with me, and we'll go from there. But until then, I will see you guys on the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.